In the wake of Adaobi's departure to Lagos, Chinedu, though heartbroken, steadfastly devoted himself to his farm. He found solace in the rhythms of the land, believing in the restorative power of hard work. Yet, life was about to test him further. One day, while immersed in his work, a neighbor came sprinting towards him, panic etched on his face. "Chinedu, your house is on fire," he exclaimed, breathless with alarm. Dropping his tools, Chinedu hurried back to the village, his heart thudding in trepidation. However, he arrived only to witness his humble abode being consumed by fierce flames. His modest savings, belongings, memories, everything was engulfed in the inferno. As he stood amidst the ashes of his home, despair engulfed him. With no place to call home, Chinedu resorted to a crude shelter at the edge of the village. It was a flimsy refuge, barely offering protection against the elements. On one particularly stormy night, as he lay shivering under the scant protection, drenched by the relentless rain, his plight seemed utterly hopeless. It was during this moment of utter despair that Nkechi, a childhood acquaintance, reappeared in his life. She remembered Chinedu from their younger days before her family moved from the village. Having recently returned, Nkechi was shocked to find him in such a dire state. Stumbling upon him in the rain, shivering and soaked, she approached him with concern. "Chinedu, what happened to you?" she asked, her voice filled with worry. Teeth chattering, Chinedu narrated the unfortunate incident of his house burning down and the hardships that followed. Touched by his story, Nkechi immediately offered him shelter in her family home, insisting he couldn't spend another night in these harsh conditions. Chinedu gratefully accepted her offer. In Nkechi's home, he found not just a roof over his head but also a nurturing presence. Nkechi would often prepare meals and bring them to him at his farm, ensuring he was well fed and cared for. Their conversations, laden with empathy and mutual understanding, became a source of solace for Chinedu. Nkechi's unwavering faith in his resilience rekindled hope in his heart. As time passed, their relationship deepened. They found themselves bound by a profound connection, rooted in their shared love for the village and its values. In Nkechi, Chinedu discovered not just companionship, but also a soulmate who echoed his dreams and aspirations. With Nkechi's support, Chinedu's determination to rebuild his life and farm was reinvigorated. Then one fateful day, as Chinedu was working on his farm, a group of well-dressed individuals arrived. They revealed the long-forgotten investment his father had made. "Your father, unknown to many, was a wise investor. His partnership in our cocoa processing company has yielded immense wealth. Now rightfully yours," they announced, presenting documents that would forever change the course of his life. Chinedu's parents had always been forward-thinking individuals in their village. Many years ago, they made a modest but significant investment in a small cocoa processing company, believing in the potential of the local cocoa industry. This decision was made with a blend of hope and practicality, as they saw it as a chance to contribute to an industry beneficial to their community. Their investment was a quiet affair, known only to them, as they preferred to focus on their immediate responsibilities of farm and family. Over the years, as they tended to their daily lives, the details of this investment faded into the background, nearly forgotten amidst the routines of village life. After their passing, this investment, which had been growing silently and substantially, came to light. The cocoa company had flourished, turning their modest stake into a considerable fortune. This windfall, a result of his parents' wisdom and foresight, marked a turning point in Chinedu's life, altering his destiny in ways he could never have imagined. Chinedu, the humble farmer, was now a man of considerable means, but his newfound wealth did not change his heart. He remained deeply connected to his village, using his resources to improve the lives of his fellow villagers, building schools, clinics, and supporting local agriculture. In the weeks following her arrival in Lagos, Adaobi's initial enchantment with the city began to wane. Emeka, once a constant companion, started to disappear for days on end, leaving her alone in the luxurious apartment that now felt more like a gilded prison. On this particular occasion, Emeka had been gone for 3 days. Adaobi, growing increasingly anxious, tried repeatedly to reach him, but each call went unanswered, each message unreturned. The opulence that surrounded her felt hollow, a stark contrast to the loneliness and worry gnawing at her. As she paced the living room, her frustration grew. The evening was drawing in, and the apartment felt eerily silent. She muttered to herself, "Where could he be? Why doesn't he answer?" Finally, she decided to confront him when he returned. She rehearsed her words, a mix of anger and concern. "Emeka, this isn't what I signed up for. You can't just leave me here, wondering where you are, whether you're safe." Her thoughts were abruptly interrupted by a knock at the door. Startled, Adaobi's heart leapt. She rushed to the door, expecting, hoping to see Emeka. But the hope quickly dissolved into confusion and fear when she opened it. Standing there were 2 police officers, their expressions stern and official. The sight of them made her heart sink, a sense of dread washing over her. One of the officers spoke up, his voice firm. "Miss Adaobi, we need to speak with you regarding Emeka. May we come in?" Adaobi, taken aback, managed a weak nod and stepped aside to let them enter. As they settled into the living room, a million thoughts raced through her mind. What could Emeka have done? Why are the police here? The officers began to question her about Emeka's activities, his acquaintances, and his business dealings. Adaobi, bewildered and shaken, answered as best she could. I don't know much. He doesn't talk about his business with me. Please, what's this about?" After a pause, the officer's tone softened slightly. "We are investigating several cases of fraud and financial crimes linked to Emeka. Do you know of his whereabouts?" The room seemed to spin around Adaobi. The words fraud and financial crimes echoed in her ears. Emeka, the man who promised her a world of luxury and excitement, was now a fugitive, leaving her in a whirlwind of confusion and fear. As the officers left, Adaobi sank into a chair, her mind reeling. The life she had chosen, lured by the promise of wealth and adventure, was unraveling before her eyes. The realization that she had been living in a facade, blinded by the glitter of city life, hit her with crushing force. Alone in the apartment, with the echoes of her shattered dreams around her, Adaobi realized the depth of her mistake. The city, with all its allure, had shown its true colors, and the man she had left Chinedu for was nothing but a mirage. Overwhelmed by remorse and a newfound understanding, Adaobi realized the necessity of returning to her roots, to the village that had shaped her early dreams and values. The experience in the city, with its false allure and harsh realities, had taught her a profound lesson about the emptiness of materialistic pursuits and the irreplaceable worth of genuine love and integrity. As she made her way back to the village, each familiar landmark along the path evoked a mixture of emotions. There was comfort in the recognition of each tree and bend in the road, yet also a growing apprehension about the reception that awaited her. Adaobi was acutely aware that she was returning a changed woman, no longer captivated by the glittering allure of city life, but humbled and enlightened by its challenging lessons. Her heart was heavy with the prospect of facing Chinedu, the embodiment of the sincere love she had once forsaken. Upon her arrival, the transformation of the village was immediately apparent, a testament to Chinedu's newfound wealth and his generous spirit. The community was abuzz with progress and development, yet it retained its heart and soul. Adaobi saw Chinedu not just as the successful entrepreneur he had become, but as a man who had stayed true to his values, using his fortune to uplift those around him. The sight of him, so assured and compassionate, stirred a deep sense of loss within her. She realized the magnitude of what she had left behind, a life of meaningful love and shared dreams with Chinedu. In the village square, Under the same Iroko tree where their dreams had once diverged, Adaobi approached Chinedu. Her eyes, brimming with remorse, met his. Chinedu, I was blind, chasing illusions while true love and happiness were right here. Can you ever forgive me? She asked, her voice a whisper of her former self. Chinedu, his journey through heartache to joy etched in his eyes, replied with a gentle wisdom. Adaobi, life teaches us in mysterious ways. My heart harbors no bitterness. Find your happiness, as I have found mine. Chinedu's life was now intertwined with Nkechi, a union that symbolized the power of patience, understanding, and true affection. Together, they stood as the heart of the village, inspiring others to find wealth not in material possessions, but in love and community. Years rolled by, and the village thrived under Chinedu's benevolence. Adaobi, having learned hard life lessons, found a new contentment in the village, her dreams now grounded in the true essence of happiness. Their story, a narrative of love, betrayal, and redemption, stands as a poignant reminder of life's deepest truths. It teaches us that the richest treasures are not found in material wealth, but in the heart's capacity to love, forgive, and grow. Through Chinedu and Adaobi's journey, we learn that true happiness and fulfillment lie not in the pursuit of superficial desires, but in the appreciation of genuine relationships and the simple joys of life. Their experiences underscore the value of integrity, the resilience of the human spirit, and the enduring power of love and community.